Good evening and welcome back to the Black Report. I am Clay.
And I am Chad. And we first off want to apologize on the delay. We had some technical difficulties. That's usually the way it goes on these live streams. But you know what? That's part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Whee!
Yeah. I don't know about fun, but that's part. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
it
just the
was a
nature of the beast,
blast.
Exactly.
I was
So,
having, for some reason, it still isn't recognizing the camera that I use all the
camera.
time. It just wouldn't recognize it. StreamYard, but it's recognizing it on all my stuff in my computer, just not on StreamYard. So I had to switch cameras.
It don't make sense. Like I said, now once you get off of here tonight, it'll work like it was never down. It's
I don't know. I was expecting that to happen just now when I logged back in, but it didn't. So I don't know.
Right. I hear you. So, but hey, you're on there now.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if maybe if it didn't show my my face on there, it probably would be an improvement on the can. They probably, hey, that's better. We like that podcast the best. Yeah, we just heard him. We didn't see him. I have a face for radio, not video.
A radio face.
Yeah.
So tonight we are going to talk about the Goatman.
Yes.
This kind of falls into the category of cryptids, I guess, Chad.
That's exactly what it is, and that's what we're all about here. We peel back the veil of the unexplained here at the Black Project. If you're new to us, if you want to know what we do, if you go to our channel, we got a pretty good description of what we do every week. We like to share these kind of I don't know, you want to call them folklore, urban legends, paranormal, unexplained, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
They fall into the category of all of the above.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, that's what makes it fun. So, here we are.
Interesting. Like we're intrigued by this stuff. It's
it's
things that you don't know for sure if they're true, but you want them to be because it's cool.
You do. I'll say I have never seen anything like any kind of like a cryptid, like an unusual being.
Yeah.
I've ran into live bear out in the woods, and that's not a cryptid. That's a real thing. And that was scary. So
yes,
I can only imagine what, something, like, the creature we're going to discuss tonight and have pictures and video and things. It's going to be like, man, I don't know what I would do. I really don't, the one thing,
like something out of like Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, or something like that.
And it's just, I mean, one thing about it too, like when I go on these, urban explorers on my other channel, usually most of them are in the state of Indiana, which I don't mind that. I kind of like that because I do admit I do go armed when I go around, at night in different places I've not been because it's just my own protection. But the problem is if I would see one of these creatures, I'd be in a whole other state where I'm not allowed to carry. And then what am I going to do? Throw a rock? Get out,
Got some keys, like on a big keychain.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I don't care. I don't have guns. Not because I don't want them. It's just
right.
I don't know. I just haven't bought any.
And my wife always makes fun of me, but I always say, if I go into exploring a haunted house, I feel safer when I'm carrying a firearm. And she said, "What's that going to do into a ghost?" I say, it's a false sense of security. I'd feel better with it than without it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could shoot at a ghost all you want, I guess.
Yeah, maybe the noise will scare it away, but I'm just saying it, and the thing too is some of these abandoned places that you can go to, sometimes it's not necessarily the unknown, it's the known, it's the human factor coming into play. If there's like
human
squatters,
or
if there's squatters or other things in there that, you don't plan on being there that are there and can, cause you
could
some
stumble
issues.
onto an animal that was hiding out in there that didn't really want to be found, and it's mad.
Exactly. Snakes, wild, rabid possums or raccoons or anything. But we digress. So
yeah,
that's what we do. But if you're not sure about the Goatman, if you've never seen the Goatman, there's several different. I mean, right now they're basically just, I guess you want to say, like an artist interpretation of that. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I think so. I think everything that is out there is.
I mean, there you go. There's kind of a
and that right there to me, that totally is just somebody wearing some sort of thing or a photo.
Yeah, that's kind of, exactly. But it kind of depicts. It gives you an idea of kind of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got some other ones here. I think this one's pretty cool. I really liked it.
That is cool looking. Yeah.
Envision him to being, if I was going to run into him in the woods, I would want to see this. No doubt in my mind, I would want to see that. I don't know about you, but I would feel more comfortable.
Yeah, what's more seeing that?
Yeah, than the other thing. I don't know. I'm just saying it's kind of wicked though.
The other thing, the first picture you showed, I feel like I could take that. Like I'm not worried about that.
Right. Yeah, that's right. This one, that one looks a little more stout. You know,
I probably can't handle that.
Yeah. What are you doing in my woods? And then there's this guy here. Hope it shows okay.
Definitely can't handle that one.
That one's pretty buff.
I saw that one in my searches too, you know.
Yeah, then we got another image here. It's kind of cool as well because he is known to carry an axe too. This guy right here. Yeah. That's kind of neat too. That's kind of freaky, you know.
It is. He's like kind of hunched over.
Yeah.
He's got a big axe, man.
Yeah, it is. I could do some harm swinging around. And then the one that we put on our thumbnail, which is this one looks really demonic, and it looks real, obviously, compared to the other ones. And we'll put this guy up here.
This next one is creepy. Yeah, see that's, and that look at the hooves. That I found a lot of these pictures.
Yeah, that's like almost like a night vision, like a trail cam would catch that at night, you know, in the woods, something.
And that one you can see the feet.
Yeah,
the hooves. There's like hooves on there.
Yeah, that's just wild. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show everybody what we're looking at if you haven't seen. I mean, if you haven't seen something like that.
Oh, hey. Leslie Anderson. Hello, how are you? I'm just saying hi to some people. King Paco, how you doing? Oh, you already said hi. That was
I just typed in a comment. Oh. King's back. He says my mom used to say that it's real. Did she ever see that?
Is it a chupacabra? No, it's the Goatman is what they call it.
Chupacabra is more down in Mexico, and it's kind of like it's more of a but they call it the goat sucker, I guess, because it actually supposedly like bites goats and things. So it's not really a goat, but I guess it goes after him. So it's more of I would call it more of a wild cat, wolf, or something, a chupacabra, as far as the pictures that I've seen. We can do a show about that too sometime, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's another thing that's kind of interesting. But I think it's mostly out of Mexico. I think maybe Texas, but I think it's a Mexico thing where they see that running around. And
the chupacabra, yeah. Do you happen to know Leslie Anderson? I was just curious where she's from.
That is actually my wife.
Oh, okay.
the name change on the Facebook or whatever YouTube ain't got changed. So
gotcha. King Paco is in Massachusetts. I can't remember the town. It starts with a B. But just kind of cool to see where people
put a location. Yeah, if anybody from Maryland or Texas out there, let us know, because that's where these legends originated from. So
well, that's a broad area. Maryland to Texas. That's a long.
Yeah, Texas is a big enough state, let alone, Maryland, it's not real big, but still, like you said, it's
that's a big gap.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like roaming all the areas in between or if it's
I want to say that
I don't know why it
probably more of them between Maryland and Texas too,
Yeah, exactly.
Like not just in Maryland and Texas. I don't know. Is it real?
I don't know. Have to go out and do a hunt for one, see what we got though.
Yeah.
But well, you put an interesting little video explaining like
it's almost 2 minutes long. I apologize for that, but it's
that's fine. But let's play that and give it a background to everybody. They can kind of get more of a story on it. They could probably do it better justice than what I can. Kind of give you a little bit of visual to the explanation of this creature. So let's just go ahead and play that real quick for everyone here.
The Goatman is one of those legends that straddles the line between campfire story and conspiracy theory, depending on who you ask. Most commonly reported in Maryland and Texas, the Goatman is described as a half-man, half-goat creature, sometimes seen wielding an axe, who roams rural roads and wooded areas and isolated bridges. In Maryland, sightings cluster around Prince George's County, especially near the infamous Governor's Bridge, where locals claim the creature has stalked cars, attacked animals, and let out horrifying screams. Down in Texas, a similar version haunts Old Alton Bridge, also known as Goatman's Bridge. Visitors report strange growls, rock throwing, and the sound of hooves on gravel, despite no animals being around. The origins? That's where things get weird. Some believe the Goatman is just a local boogeyman invented to scare teens, but others suggest it's the result of a government experiment gone wrong. A scientist allegedly working at a nearby USDA facility who, according to the legend, spliced goat DNA with his own and became the creature. Of course, there's zero evidence for the DNA splicing theory, no records, no names, but that hasn't stopped it from gaining traction online. Supporters of this theory point to decades of consistent sightings, overlapping details between states, and audio recordings of strange noises in the woods. Skeptics argue it's simply folklore, recycled and regionalized, just another urban legend used to explain away eerie sounds and local tragedies. So, is the Goatman a cautionary tale, a mutated product of a rogue scientist, or something else entirely? That's for you to decide.
Nice. Well done, my friend. Well done.
I literally just finished that before I sent it to you. So.
Yeah, that's actually really good. That gives a really good background. Like I said, yeah, the different legends that they think it originated from, like the scientists, going crazy. And I've heard like in Texas, like a goat farmer was killed or something, and he come back to haunt it, So
it's the goat farmer. It's the goat farmer.
Yeah, he comes back to haunt it, because I guess it was kind of something that ties it to like a racial injustice back in Texas time. So I don't know, you hear it, like I said, it's a legend. You hear different varieties. So
yeah, I mean, for me, it's the first that I've heard of it. Coming off of our idea sheet that we have. I've never seen one, but now that's something else I want to see, And like, what would you do really if you saw something like that?
I don't know.
Like what? I mean, you know what I mean? Like what goes through your mind?
Get the camera out and start filming it. That's all you can do.
You want to because you want proof, but the other part of me, like the other 89 to 90% of me wants to just turn around and run as fast as I can run.
Yeah, I mean, and what would you do in this? I mean, it's easy, like, when you're watching these videos, of people that encounter things like, why didn't they go and look closer? Why didn't they go investigate more? That's easier said when you're sitting on your couch in your front room.
Right.
If you're out there and
face to face with this thing,
you might act a little different. You might,
that's a little,
it might put a little, that flight, or freeze.
Flight, something like that.
Yeah, that's it. You might take into play. You're gonna freeze, you're gonna run, or you're gonna stay there and stand your ground. I don't know.
I don't think I freeze.
That's probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah,
because you're not doing anything, and then that gives whatever you're seeing time to react more, because you're not reacting, so it has the upper hand at that point. Basically.
Anytime in my life that I've ever been spooked by something that I couldn't explain, I usually took off.
Well, like when I saw the bear, they say, you don't want to run. I ran. Okay, I'm sorry. I ran as fast as I could.
You're still gonna run, yeah.
I figured the more distance between me and that bear, the better off, I was. So
And why do they say not to run? Because it'll take that as a opportunity.
They actually can run too. They're faster than humans at short distances.
Yeah.
They can cover really fast, really quick. That's why they say it, because then also it triggers the instinct of fear in you, and it triggers the hunting instinct in them to go after you. Like the chase instinct in them. That's what I've heard it does. So, that does. I mean, I guess that does make sense. Because most predators don't sit there and just look for stuff that's laying there dead on the ground. It looks for something that's alive and moving, and goes after it.
Challenge.
So. Right. So, but like I said, I wasn't going to just stand there, and you can't climb the trees because there's no trees to climb in that area. There's plenty of trees, but you can't climb them unless you can climb a telephone pole. You ain't climbing down them trees. No. They're just straight barks, or, straight trunks. Then 30 feet up, like I said, is the first branch.
When the canopy starts.
It's the size of a straw. How you gonna climb that? Yeah, and that branches ain't gonna hold.
You just
That
gotta have
branches aren't
good
gonna hold
grip.
your weight.
Yeah.
Right, right. So that's a whole different. No, that's just doesn't work in that situation. And if it's a black bear, they can climb too, so that's not a good idea. But grizzlies don't climb. But yeah, they're really quick. That's why they say you don't want to run.
Do grizzlies not climb because they're so heavy?
Could be. They're so much bigger. I don't know. I just know they don't. They don't climb trees. So.
But does a goat man climb? So
he could. But he's
know.
also carrying a big axe, so he could probably do some damage to that tree if you decide to go into it.
See, so the idea of this thing out there carrying an axe, let's just say hypothetically it's real, right?
Right.
If it's carrying an axe, there's definitely a humanoid factor or element there, because why would it, like, an animal wouldn't even pick up an axe.
Right, wouldn't know what it was.
Wouldn't know what it was. Wouldn't even know that they could benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, if it's carrying an axe, then there is some sort of humanoid type factor or element involved.
Exactly. They say animals can't reason like humans can. Well, if he's carrying an axe and knows it could do some damage and it's a weapon,
reasoning.
Exactly. So that flips a switch on being just a animal wandering amok out there that doesn't walking through the woods.
Yeah, right.
It has intent, purpose, and knows what's going on.
Knows what it's doing.
Yeah. That whole element too makes it a little bit more frightening. It's not like it's just a wild animal running out there.
No, it's something that's thinking like predatorially.
Exactly. Almost like we can,
and intelligently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can imagine some of these other predators out there were like carrying things like that. Like imagine lions out there carrying stuff, like bears carrying weapons. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah, we'd be in real trouble.
Yeah, we'd be a little bit lower on the food chain, I think, after that.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to bears.
Like that, yeah.
That's definitely.
So, the Goatman, and as far as I found, it was mostly Maryland, Texas.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Yeah, Maryland, Prince County, like you said, Prince George County is a big one.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned that in the little video we had, where's that research center where the guy mixed up, which who knows about labs? We won't go into that kind of, go down that rabbit hole about labs and gain of function and life changing things, but
no, I want that. I'm looking for a little more information on the Goatman.
Yeah, we have seen, we've all seen the movie Jurassic Park, so messing with DNA may not be a good thing. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
Doesn't
right?
mean you should be doing it, right?
Exactly. So I mean, it's that kind of makes you wonder,
I'm looking here. Maryland origins, the USDA experiment theory. So it says one of the earliest and most famous versions of the Goatman legend comes from, again, Prince George's County.
Okay.
Specifically around that bridge, Governor's Bridge Road and Crybaby Bridge.
Yeah.
Locals claim the Goatman was once a scientist working in the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, part of the USDA.
I've heard of the Crybaby Bridge.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some videos out on that.
It says he was conducting bizarre experiments involving goat DNA and genetic manipulation. The experiment went horribly wrong, and the scientist mutated himself or created something that escaped. Well, if it was something that escaped, then we would know that the scientist was still around.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. And he would know what was going on.
And it says soon after, people began reporting strange screams in the woods, mutilated pets and livestock, and sightings of a horned creature wielding an axe. Of course, no official records exist of any such incident, and no names or details have ever been verified, but the lack of proof hasn't stopped people from believing in it.
Where's the video? Come on now. Yeah. But
that's what leads me to folklore.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Texas variant. In Denton, Texas, the Goatman haunts the old Alton Bridge, known as Goatman's Bridge. This version of the story mixes folklore and You were saying racial injustice.
Yeah, as a black goat farmer, they said that was like I think lynched by a mob in the late 1800s.
Oscar
Yeah.
Washburn was lynched by Klansmen after being accused of witchcraft and devil worship. They hung him from the bridge, but when they returned, his body was gone.
That's creepy in itself.
People have reported rocks being thrown at their cars, hoof beats on the gravel road, even when there's no animals nearby, growls, red eyes in the woods, and the smell of rotting flesh. And then there's others that say it is a demonic entity.
Yeah, I've heard that angle too. Now,
So
is that because of the goat farmer, the demonic, or is it something different? Maybe is that a third element? I don't know.
I do.
Yeah, that's strange.
It says similar creatures have been reported in Kentucky, Alabama, and Wisconsin, with names like the sheep squatch or the satire beast.
That sounds funny.
Yeah, sheep squatch. Some witnesses describe him as 7 to 8 foot tall, with glowing
tall goat
eyes
man
and unnatural speed.
Yeah, see, now that's not good. You know, you talk about something that tall, fast, carrying an axe.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on, it's already got it's already got some plus ups on a lot of things going on there. That's kind of freaky right there in of itself.
It says others hear only the goat-like bleating, followed by silence or worse. So,
well, they say be careful when you're walking alone in the woods in the dark, because you just might hear the hooves. Now, if you were really walking through there and hearing that, wouldn't you just be like freaking out, like where are they coming from?
I'd be like, what the hell is that noise? Because you can tell the difference between a unnatural noise in a certain environment and a natural noise. You know.
Exactly.
You know what a horse sounds like walking, so you might start to think, is it a horse? But you can hear when a horse walks, you hear 4 footsteps.
Yeah, you can hear the clippity clop or whatever the word. Yeah, you could tell the difference. Like, you know, and if it's something that big, it's probably going to be making quite a bit of noise as it's walking through, I would think.
Yeah, if it's 7
it wouldn't
feet
be that
tall.
quiet unless it knows how to get around the woods, you know. So
I like this theory, paranormal entity or demon. In some accounts, Goatman is less a physical being and more of a manifestation of evil, like a cryptid born from pain, injustice, or a ritual.
Well, it's kind of like that one picture that I showed earlier, you know, this one right here. Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
That kind of is more like a demonic thing. It looks like, it does look like something right out of a ritual. You know, like you're in there, you summoned up some creature or whatever, doing some ritual and chant. And there,
the devil.
Yeah, and there it is. That's just,
maybe those horns are just the devil horns.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other issue that just really, that's a whole other freakiness right there. But, that's just, I don't know. It's just creepy.
I see it mentions recycled folklore. Critics say the story is just a modern retelling of ancient myths like Greek satire or faun, and gets adapted to fit local geography.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's stuff the nightmares are made out of. If I was a little kid and you heard your grandparents telling those stories, your parents, it'd probably be hard to sleep.
You wouldn't want to go outside at night.
No, you wouldn't want to play. I think I'll stay in for tonight.
There's one theory. It was just parents trying to keep their kids' curiosity levels down.
Yeah, keep them home. Go out there. That goat man is going to get you. Yeah.
The goat man has been featured in books, podcasts,
right,
YouTube horror series, and shows like Unsolved Mysteries and Destination Truth.
Have they made a movie about this already?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I have to look that up if they made one. I know they've got movies, all kinds of different things. So I don't know if they made a movie about something like this. I mean, they would make a Bigfoot movie. I would think they'd make something like this. I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to search the interwebs and see if we can find an answer.
There's movies.
Is there?
Yep.
Let's check some of those out just for fun. See what's going on.
YouTube Horror Central, Goatman full movie, full monster horror movie, full. Yeah.
Yeah.
IMDb.
Okay, that's the movie database channel or website.
2023. There's the Goatman. 4 traumatized siblings attempt to reunite at their childhood campsite where they are haunted by an unknown entity.
Might be a good thing to watch late at night. Get some popcorn and Velveeta and sit down and watch a movie on Saturday, late Saturday night. Nothing's going on.
So that's not even that old.
No, that's pretty recent. So, I feared there would be. I think there's a movie about a lot of these legends. I mean, like Candyman, there's that movie come out about that, and these different legends, Bigfoot and things like that. So I figured to be something about the Goatman. They've got stuff about the Mothman and Wolfman and all that stuff. So
I wish there was more pictures from the movie. I'd like to show that, but I don't. There's 3, and they're just people.
Right.
But now you can go on IMDb and you can watch the Goatman.
Yeah, there you go. It might give you something to do this weekend.
Yeah,
nothing's going on. So I'm gonna turn and watch the Goatman.
Goatman 2023, 2025.
But was it Goatman 2?
Looks like the same movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for this now.
Yeah, I probably will after this. I mean, I won't watch it tonight, but I mean, I'll probably watch it soon because I'm curious to see what it's like. See what their take on it and see how where it takes place. And
I think I'm gonna be watching it tonight. You'll know because I'm gonna text you in the morning.
Yeah,
I'll be like, dude,
he watched the Goatman. Don't give no spoilers away.
Nope.
No spoilers.
Nah.
Oh, right. That's pretty funny. So. Yeah, it would be something interesting to check out, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know of anybody that's seen it personally, or
me neither.
Any reports or anything like that. Like I said, because I don't really know anybody that's living in Maryland area.
I've not
had
heard.
A friend, had a buddy that did live in Texas. He's not there anymore. I don't know if he ever saw him. I had to hit him up. Say, hey, did you ever see anything called the Goatman when you was down there? Because I don't know.
I gotta poke Kevin's brain now because he lives in Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm gonna have to say, hey, you ever heard of the Goatman? You ever heard?
You need to go by that. You need to go by that bridge. And what's it called again? The
old Alton.
Old Bridge. Alton Bridge, or locals call it the Goatman Bridge.
Goatman's Bridge. Yeah, you can. Yep. So,
go there and check it out. So hope you can't hear my dog barking in the background, but
I can, but maybe the audience can't.
Okay. Yeah, she's who knows what she's barking at.
It's okay.
She's clearing out of the room. I'm here in the studio, but she still has a very loud bark. Maybe she sees the Goatman.
You never know.
Right. There you go. So I want to share this video here too, this little clip here. It's kind of freaky. I'll let you see what you think. I don't know if you've seen this, but I thought it was very interesting. I wanted to share it tonight for sure. So I'm going to pull this thing up and share this with everyone.
Yeah.
Because I think that you would like it.
Okay, is it about the Goatman?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Watch this.
Ahmet sakın şu an her yerde çıkabilir, her an çıkabilir. Bu sanda. Nerede? Yukarıda. Tamam gördüm. Gördüm bir dakika. Gördüm. Ahmet bu boynuzlu şerşepal bu Ahmet. Boynuzlu şerşepal bak. Burayı koruyan boynuzlu şerşepal bu çok güzel. Çok güzel sakın. Panik yapma.
A horned being that resembles Goatman can be seen watching them on top of the mountain.
That's kind of creepy.
Isn't it though? Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good video though. That's about the best one I could find that was actually like footage of something,
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, now if I had to see that would definitely get me thinking.
There'd be dust. There'd be some dust, and you probably wouldn't see Clay anymore.
Think I'd be retracing my steps backwards, going the other way. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I thought it was kind of neat myself, but it's pretty cool. That
was cool. Yeah, like I said, if I saw something like that, man, I would be running so fast.
Oh,
I become I used to. I'm older now, but when I was younger and somebody scared me, if there was fear behind me,
Right.
I would outrun everybody.
Fear is a very motivating factor, I guess, or
Yeah.
fear. It can freak you out. Make you run or do whatever.
We used to play manhunt, and I was the biggest kid. The three guys that I hung out with, two of them were a lot skinnier and could run, but whenever I was getting chased, they could not catch me.
Oh, really?
Because I would just get like adrenaline or something. I'd be so afraid of getting caught, just booking it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go back to that bear story. I was in chest waders. Still have my chest waders on, carrying poles and fish, and I'm running super fast, herding little trees that are down like they weren't even there, and it's like, it just it definitely changes your abilities. I think if you got fear behind you, you can tend to.
You forget about pains that you had.
Yeah, your strength, your strength increases, your speed increases, your adrenaline. Well, you're basically going on adrenaline at that point. So you don't, kind of gives you a little bit of superhuman or kind of a strength there for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I would definitely be fueled. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be. I thought this is a cool little video. I just wanted to make sure I shared that one.
That was a good one, man. That was a good one.
Yeah, because I don't know what I would do if I seen that. I really don't.
So there was a popular Reddit. It's called Creepypasta. It must be something on Reddit. I don't go on Reddit much. It was titled Anansi's Goatman story, and that went viral and introduced the legend to a younger audience with a terrifying campfire style retelling of the story. So it says, even without evidence, belief in the Goatman's growth with every sighting, commented thread, or viral TikTok or YouTube video.
No video or anything. That was probably not. Right.
There's no media. There's no media.
It could have happened a long time ago too.
Yeah.
They were trying to spark the story. It could have happened
It's still with all this, you know what I mean? It just brings me to the whole folklore thing, the whole urban legend, scary story kind of, just like the last week's show, The Fire in the Sky.
Right.
That there was no actual proof. So,
well, yeah, like I said, our job here is not to persuade you one way or the other, tell you you're wrong, tell you you're right. It's just to present you with evidence and let you draw your own conclusions, and whether you believe it or not. I'm like you. I tend to believe it's more folklore. Like I said, until now, video was pretty good, but videos could get pretty good now. I don't know how old that video was, when it was made or anything, but it's I think you just got to see more. More has to happen. You have to actually see some more than what we're seeing at this point.
That's just how we are.
I think it's how we in nature. You need to,
Yep. More validation, and even if I bet you, even if we were presented with some sort of something that we didn't see but was presented to us, and it was a little bit more concrete, we'd still be like, yeah, but
yeah, I know. I think that's the way. Like you said, I think that's just the way it is sometimes. I mean, just like the AI is getting so good, and everything. But and I don't know. Like I said, if you saw stuff, like if you just walked up on it, you had no idea, like you're just minding your business and you're walking in the woods and you saw that. Do you think you would stop and take the time to pull your phone out if you had it and start filming?
I don't know.
I mean,
I would want to.
It's different. It's different. Like the UFO, you got up there and you're in the sky and you can see this light. It's
just sitting there. Yeah,
it's kind of moving or whatever. That's different. But this thing here looked like it was just 20 feet away.
Yeah, not too far. It's on the ground.
Yeah, within touching you distance. So exactly. that's a whole other factor that you got to take into consideration. That maybe like we talked, I think we hit on it earlier, that until you're in some of these situations, you don't know how you're going to react. You don't know what you're going to do.
No.
That's with everything. I mean, just like in sports, whatever. Think, oh man, that was a stupid play. They should have done this. I would have done. who are you? You know?
Yeah. Were you there? Were
Yeah,
you
it's
in
just
it? Yeah.
the armchair quarterbacks thing. You know, you just don't know how you're going to react in those
It's different
situations.
when
You
you're
know,
there.
it's exactly right. You know what? You know, we don't know. Well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have said this. Well, yeah, I can say that. You know, and you
But I
know, like
can't. Yeah, I can't tell you what I would have done if I was really there.
no, you really don't. You know, I mean, you know, it'd be different. Like if he's out there walking, you was filming a video already and had the camera out going, and all of a sudden you saw that, you might like flip the camera that way and then just like back off and run. But if you're just out there, just like I mean, you just out there talking leisurely, no cameras, just phones are in our pockets, and we run up on that, we're probably gonna look at each other and say, "Let's get the out of here."
Yeah.
Probably backpedal back out the way we came and then just bolt. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know.
That I think is what I would do.
Yeah, I mean,
I would
that's sitting here in my computer desk here. I could say that's probably what I would do. I think I'd be more accurate.
As much distance between me and that thing that I can
and that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But it's interesting. I wish there was more like that I can find out there. That was probably the best one. I did a little bit of searching.
That was a good one.
Darn near half hour, 40 minutes. Tonight, and that's about the best one I could find. The other ones were just they were just utility cartoons, animations, and wasn't even worth posting. But that one was good. I mean, if that was faked, that was very good. I'll just put it that way.
They did a good job, yeah. Because I mean,
yeah,
I can see where the ability to fake it is, because the video itself was already a little lower resolution,
right?
It's a little blotchy, pixely. It gives it the ability to be able to fake it, but it looked pretty good.
It did look pretty good. I mean, I thought so too. I mean, it looked better than some of the ones that other videos, other different things that I've seen. But why? I had to post that one. Like, so I couldn't find anything. I mean, if you could find something, feel free to share it.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I just kind of went on, just done, like you said, you get in there and you start researching the stuff for the show, and then you read about it and you learn about it, and then you start seeing these videos about it, and you go, I want to see the sightings, I want to see I want to see some video, this thing. So, but I mean, it looked like a goat. I mean, it had the horns and the glowing eyes, like it was said. I mean, it had all the witnesses, statements of what it looked like. That's the main thing there, and it kind of resembled the creature we posted on the thumbnail. It kind of resembled that more, kind of a demonic thing. Of course, it is at night. It is at night, so it's going to take the shape or the color, that at night too. So, oh no, it's pretty good. I like that, so I had to make sure.
This one's got a newsreel.
Interesting.
You want to see it?
Yeah, let's share it up.
That's talking about the Goatman, the one in Texas. Let me open this up.
Yeah, I don't think that one said where it was at. I don't believe.
All right, let me do this. Present a screen share.
Let's check out the video.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
There it is. Let me know and I'll hit play once you get it up.
Okay, we go.
Let's make sure you can you hear it?
I cannot hear that.
Why do we always have this problem?
I don't know. It's like I said, that's the nature of the beast around here.
I don't know how else to do it, because if I hit play, you can't hear it, right?
It's real faint. Yeah, it's real
faint.
Yeah, I can't hear it. It's really low. The volume's really low.
Let me look at something real quick. Let me show you something. I don't know. Still can't hear it?
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
I don't know why.
How about if you send me the link and then I'll try maybe sharing it. Maybe that'll work.
Let's try that.
All right, let's do that. Okay, that I definitely heard. Yeah,
What?
That definitely heard it popped up on my screen. Let me
I heard it too.
yeah, let's we're definitely gonna hear it this one. So yeah, let's share this here. Pardon for the lack of professional editing and podcast skills that I am portraying here in front of everybody. I do
That's
apologize
okay.
for that.
Like, for whatever reason, when I try to play stuff on a streaming platform on somebody else's, you can never hear the sound.
Right, that's weird. Okay, here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
Is the focus of a terrifying ghost story. Goatman's Bridge is a 138-year-old structure connecting the cities of Denton and Copper Canyon. And as legend has it, if you visit, you may not be alone. Madison Sawyer takes us there.
Nestled in the woods in the middle of Denton County lies Old Alton Bridge. Built in 1884, it's better known as Goatman's Bridge.
I think everybody thinks about it when they're driving by.
It's become somewhat of a spectacle after being featured in one of the most popular episodes of online paranormal series BuzzFeed Unsolved. But its origin is a tale that has been passed down for generations.
It tells this kind of different side of history that reminds us that, hey, we have ghosts to reckon with.
It's one of Denton's most legendary ghost stories and most terrifying.
If you go there at night now, you could possibly see the Goatman.
There was a man named Oscar Washburn. He was a goat farmer. And so he had decided that he was going to put a sign up on the bridge to direct them down the dirt path to this way to the Goatman.
There's no official record of Washburn, but historians say he was killed in a race-motivated attack on this very bridge.
The legend goes that, visiting the bridge is always kind of daring a visit with the Goatman. Going onto the bridge and knocking 3 times. It's kind of a summons or a dare, if you will.
No, I haven't done that, but yeah, I know people that did.
Your mind will play tricks on you. You'll swear you hear something or swear you just saw something.
There are a lot of reports of eerie encounters on the bridge and in the woods surrounding.
They heard many spirits in the woods, glowing red eyes, the smell of sulfur, smell of death, hoof beats and stomping around in the woods.
It's everybody likes something that has history behind it that there's, can scare somebody or spook the kids or, those are the ones that live on forever.
A paranormal hotspot that keeps some of the city's past in the shadows.
The history are the kind of comforting narratives that our community tells ourselves, but it's the ghost stories that really let us know the things that still haunt us.
And Goatman's Bridge is a registered historic landmark. So, by the way, it is a crime to deface it. And
It hit the news.
Wow.
You know,
that's
funny?
pretty neat.
Some of these stories that we find, we've never heard of them. And then when we start researching it more, we're like, there was all kinds of stuff. There's a movie about this one.
Yeah, we're not the only ones that know that are curious about this. Yeah. I guess we're late to the show, but yeah, I liked how he said, you knock 3 times. It's always like the 3 things. Like, what is it when you in the mirror, a dark
Bloody
room,
Mary,
Bloody Mary,
and say her name 3 times.
Yeah, and like
Beetlejuice,
like that, like the Crybaby Bridge I was telling you about. I think one of the legends there is to go to the bridge and say, Mary, Mary, I have your baby. Mary, Mary, I have your baby. Say it like 3 times, and you hold your hands out. She's supposed to appear, I guess. I don't know, but I mean. It's always in 3s, I guess, when you say when something's gonna show up. But wouldn't that freak you out if you did that? Wouldn't it freak you out if you did that and all of a sudden you started hearing hooves and banging around? I'd be like, oh, okay.
Coming across the bridge.
And they talk about like the red eyes and the smell. That's kind of like Bigfoot. I guess they said that sometimes he can smell really bad too.
They always talk about having reddish eyes and
and how bad it smells. Yeah, so. I don't know. Maybe they're hiding out together. The Goatman and the Bigfoot.
Well, I wonder if the smell comes from people that were out and about in the woods and thought they saw something, but there was a rotting corpse of some animal and they could smell that. So they go, "Oh, smell was awful."
Yeah,
they saw this thing and it was smelled bad, and
especially
You
like
know?
in the heat. I mean, things start decaying. It
Oh, yeah.
can smell very ripe real quick, and it's not a very pleasant smell.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's endless possibilities, I think, on some of those.
What ifs
So
and yeah.
that's a good article. That's a good little
Well,
feature.
yeah,
Glad we showed that one.
Yeah.
So
that's all I've got for it tonight.
yeah. Well,
I don't know about
like I
you.
said, no, I think we've covered it pretty good. When they're just rehashing things that we've already said. But like I said, as always, we wanted just to introduce this stuff to you if you haven't heard from it, or refresh your memory about it and get your take on it. We give our takes on it. We'd like to know what you guys think, and if anything you guys want to know about or us to talk about, leave it in the comments, and we'll be glad to do it. Do some research on it and do the topic justice, I should say.
Right.
So
next week we're going to talk about orbs.
Exactly, and that's another one. We got some footage coming up. We got some bonus footage coming up.
Yeah,
we're not going to give it away, but that's a whole other, and that's a good thing about that one is there is a lot of footage.
Yes,
on orbs. It's not just stories of somebody seeing something out in the middle of the woods where there's nobody around. These things are like over towns and neighborhoods on streets. I mean, they're
yeah.
We just saw a rash of them, back in that whole drone fiasco in November. So, I mean, so it's going to be interesting.
Fun, I think.
Yeah. A lot of footage coming down on that. So can't wait for that one. That's going to be pretty good. So like I said, we cover everything on here. We're not just going to limit it to UFOs. That's going to limit it to, cryptids. We're going to talk everything because, the whole thing fascinates me no matter what you're talking about, Even though as a kid, I was growing up, I was really fascinated with, the Loch Ness, Nessie. I always thought that was really, really cool.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Now, does the Loch Ness monster fall into a category of a cryptid?
I don't know.
Because that's a horse that's been beaten already, but we could talk about
I don't know because Nessie's been out before cryptid, I think, was even really a word or term even used. Yeah. Nessie's been out for quite some time. A lot of people, take it as being what they call that plesiosaurus, the water aquatic dinosaur, I think, back in the year. And it does look like that. A plesiosaurus, I think it's what it's called, but we'll talk about, we'll do that show on Nessie as well sometime, but it looked kind of like that, but which is an actual living dinosaur at one time. So I don't know if it really would fall under cryptid. I don't think so.
Don't know. Because it's not proven to be real either.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's good. That is why you gotta ask this tough question at the end of the night. Why you gotta do that? Now I'm gonna think, all right, well, is that a cryptid?
Is that a
cryptid?
Figure it out. Yeah. We'll just figure it out. That'll be another discussion.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. But yeah, we appreciate you again, everybody joining in. That was fun. I always do like getting everyone's take on it, see what you think about it, and Clayton, you could bounce ideas off each other and see what like I said. The final verdict at the end of the show for me is I'm still going to say I think it's just a folklore and urban legend to to have fun, to scare each other, whether you're a kid or an adult, out there when you're camping or something, say, hey, I hear they go. And it's a good campfire story, it gets people. Because then I think what happens a lot of times too is you start hearing things, your mind plays tricks, and it's simple explanations and it's natural, but because of what you heard and just talked about, your mind goes a whole different direction.
Well, just think back to when you were a kid and you were in those situations and you were camping or doing something, and somebody was telling a creepy story. And think real hard and think about times that you thought you saw something. Did you? For me, a lot of the times, I don't think I really did. I saw like a shadow move that could have been a branch from a tree. Yeah,
checking under the bed before you go to sleep.
Yeah, but because I was so worked up, I'm like, your mind, dude, I saw that. Did you see that?
Your mind's
saw
playing,
something
your
when we
mind's
were
playing
kids
tricks
that we couldn't explain, and all of us saw it. But
interesting.
I feel like it was probably some sort of heat lightning or something weird, something like that. We saw this like almost black, but it was a blue shape and it was about as high up in the air as the power lines. Like right away, right, like right of way, like the transmission lines.
Right.
Those are high, and it was about that high up in the air, and it was up near, like right behind the power lines, and we all saw
Interesting.
it. We all saw it, but what was it? It was probably just because we're in Florida. There's heat lighting all the time. But
yeah.
Anyway,
it's something to think about.
Yeah.
So before we go, I want to show you this. My wife was kind enough to let me get this, by the way.
Oh, hey. It's a
T-Rex toilet paper holder. Yeah, she was actually kind enough to let me. I love Jurassic Park. Now some of these newer ones I'm not a fan of. I don't like all the deformed dinosaurs and these made up dinosaurs. I don't like that. I like the original one and the second one they kept to what real dinosaurs were. They didn't make up all this Giganosaurus and Velociraptor, Tyrannosaurus, whatever they call it. That's when it starts. To me it gets cheesy. I don't like that. Just stick with the originals because it's good enough.
For ideas.
Yeah, it's good enough.
You gonna
with the
use
original.
that?
Oh yeah, I gotta hang it up though. I don't know. But the problem is we get these really big rolls. I don't know if that's going to fit on that, so I may have to just hang it behind me somewhere and hang a flag or something, a banner or something on it.
Or you can get some toilet paper that is about halfway gone and just put it there for show.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna hang him up for sure. But I just want to throw that out there. I know it had nothing to do with the show.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
But, well, that's all I've got this week. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, and again, look for us next week when we discuss orbs. What are they? We'll discuss that and give our best insight to what we think they could be, and hopefully you guys can give your ideas on what you think of. If you got any footage, feel free to
please. Yeah.
Share it with us, or your stories, share it with us. We'd love to hear that as well.
You can catch my email off of my YouTube channel. I'm sure you've got yours labeled.
I do believe it's on there, yeah.
So send away.
Sure thing.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all I've got, Clay. If you want to close this out,
that's it. So I appreciate
everybody for the Wednesday
coming and watching the Black Report. You know what we talk about. So next week we're talking about orbs. So we will see you next week.
That's right. Keep your eyes to the sky.